I said that I was not going to do it again, so I'm not going to do it again. Hi, and welcome to the first housing news show with Amy C3. I'm Amy C3, a leftist housing advocate and a Twitch streamer and an independent data journalist who wants to talk about housing 24/7. What better way than to put together a news segment focused on housing-related content broken down into 3 subcategories: housing news, data, and good ground game. I am looking forward to this. I have been working on this for a while, and I hope that you like it. It is something that I hope to be incredibly proud of, and my goal is to help anyone who is interested in learning more about housing effectively learn about housing in the most fun, educational way possible. That being said, thank you so much for being here. I look forward to kicking the show off right now, so let's get to it. Let's talk about our first story. It, of course, is about the CDC eviction moratorium. The eviction moratorium did officially expire on August 1st. The question is, why? According to the Biden administration, they were not planning to extend the moratorium any further than July 31st. Not taking into consideration that rental assistance monies from the Treasury Department had not even reached all of the states who had set up their own rental assistance programs. Around $3 billion that was allocated by the Treasury had made it into the hands of the applicants, meaning that roughly $43 billion had not been received by applicants who were in desperate need of making good on their rent arrears, paying their outstanding debt, or paying their outstanding utility payments, in which case they are right now at risk for eviction because there are no protections. Eviction courts are opening up. They are moving through processing right now. So why are we still waiting for Joe Biden? Joe Biden apparently feels that this is outside of his purview as well. And he has asked the landlords, of all people, to maybe hold off on their eviction proceedings and wait until the rental assistance from the Treasury Department is received. That number again is $46 billion. And hopefully that will allow as many people to stay sheltered in place if we put our faith in good-hearted landlords to not move forward with evictions. I can't even get through that statement without laughing. Landlords are the plaintiffs who sued the CDC in the first place. The plaintiffs are the realtors associations. They are the litigious parties who are right now saying that the CDC's ruling to ban evictions was unconstitutional. I am beside myself trying to figure out how Joe Biden thinks that this is going to be good for the midterms, or how this is going to help his chances of re-election.
Dr. Sherwood, are we moving?
Joe Biden, wake up.
We are right now at the mercy of the democratically controlled House, Senate, and President to protect the millions of people who are currently at risk for evictions. And when I say millions, I mean millions. Let's take a closer look. The Census Bureau, who conducts a pulse survey, has projected that 15 million individuals are right now at risk for eviction. This is an incredibly high number of people, especially in areas that are experiencing economic downturn still due to COVID-19 related job loss. This is a serious matter that we have to address right now because eviction courts are already open. Thousands of eviction proceedings are already occurring right now in Atlanta, Georgia. And without those protections, we are going to see an onslaught of individuals experiencing homelessness through no fault of their own other than losing their jobs and not able to pay their rent. We really have to think about what's this is going to do to these at-risk tenants and the children who are going to be thrown out into the streets for no fault of their own other than their humble beginnings. Let's take a closer look at what this map means and look at the breakdown of states based on 3 different categories. I broke these down into states with 1 to 10% households behind on rents, tranche 1, tranche 2, states with 11 to 20% of households behind on rent. Tranche 3, which would be the most at-risk states, are the states with 21 to 30% households behind on rents. As we can see, there are a lot of people who right now are incredibly vulnerable, at the mercy of rental assistance money that might not come in a timely manner before their eviction proceeding is next on the docket, and they have no choice but to vacate the premises because the government failed to extend the moratorium on eviction, the government failed to allocate the money in rental assistance in a timely manner, and now we have individuals who are experiencing one of the most traumatic things that you can experience, and that is homelessness. We have to expect better from our democratically elected officials who are supposed to be the better party that we can rely on to do some good, to provide some relief, to make some difference. I think we are at the point as leftists in completely abandoning the principles of the Democratic Party, bearing in mind that we still have a great slate of progressive leaders like the Squad who are doing what they can, but their power is of course limited as junior House members who do not have the power to wield or whip the most high-ranking officials who are working to maintain the status quo as much as humanly possible. We're going to go ahead now and kick it over to our final story, and that is about tenant organizing, making a difference in their own community by protecting their own from the risk of aggressive landlords. All right, Portland Tenant United proposes ordinance against landlord harassment. This is great work on the Portland Tenants organization's part. Proud to see that they are taking this initiative and looking to take their grievances onto the city council floor to offer protections to those who are right now not only at risk for eviction, but might be experiencing a new wave of harassment that they hadn't experienced before COVID-19. Landlords have a problem with feeling as though they are entitled to more than what the law already provides them disproportionately. Laws are typically written to favor landlords as opposed to tenants, and I am incredibly happy to see that this is making a difference for the tenants in Portland, Oregon. Based on the survey that was conducted to take a look at the most common forms of harassment experienced by Portland tenants, it's abundantly clear that we all probably have experienced this at one point or another. 30% of maintenance has not been done. We have seen a real change in how landlords are responding to maintenance requests because a lot of tenants are unable to pay their rent, but they still might have light fixtures that are broken, they still might have plumbing issues, and landlords are trying to obfuscate their responsibility to make good on these payments or these maintenance charges that ultimately require their labor that they aren't doing right now if they're not getting their rent money from their tenants. What is surprising to me, more so than anything else, is that 14% of landlords are blatantly, verbally or physically bullying the tenant, and I just assumed that they were a little bit more passive-aggressive in their treatments to their tenants. This could be due to the economic hardship that landlords are experiencing right now. They are taking out their frustrations on the tenants, of course, but in any case, this is absolutely unacceptable. But it gets worse. Deborah is an elderly, disabled Section 8 tenant and former foster parent and had been living with her adult daughter, her caretaker in Chihuahua, in her Cully area home for over 7 years. When her garage door broke, she asked her landlord to fix it, which started a bullying and harassment campaign that lasted for months until she and her daughter eventually moved out. Instead of assuming responsibility and paying for the relatively minor repair, the landlord told her that she should find another place to live and not play the disability card. He threatened to get her kicked out of Section 8 programs, shared privileged information with her neighbors to turn them against her, and harassed her with incessant and inappropriate text messages at all hours of the night. He inspected the property several times over just a few weeks, desperate to find a reason to evict her rather than assume his responsibility as a landlord. When Deborah called the housing inspector, he issued an eviction notice over the 20-year-old rugs, telling the housing inspector that this is what she gets for calling the cops. I cannot tell you how livid I am from reading this testimonial from a disabled tenant who has experienced enough hardship in her life. She does not need a shitty fucking landlord to pile on simply because he is inconvenienced from having to do his job. This is the reason why a grassroots-led campaign through a tenant right organization or a tenant union can really make a difference if enough people stand together, provide their hell stories, and make it abundantly clear that something has to change. Be so loud that city council can't ignore you. Make your campaign so damning, motherfuck the landlords so hard, they have to respond to you. That being said, thank you so much. If you made it through this entire Babble session, thank you. I appreciate you. This is all new. I want to keep doing this live, so bear with me while we work out the kinks. I hope that you enjoyed our first show. I really think this is going to be a great experience. We will see you next time. Till then, have a great day.